if you're autistic, trying to push yourself really hard to get all this stuff done, it doesn't make you stronger. It literally breaks you. Before you burn yourself out again, let me explain a couple things to you. First of all, your worth it's not coming from all the stuff you do and all the stuff you get done and how productive you are and how much money you make. Pushing gives the opposite effect of what you actually want to happen. And number 3, I get more done now, not trying to push myself outside of my limits. I get more progress done now listening to my body than I did when I was pushing myself and constantly burning myself out over and over again. Let me explain what really happens when you push yourself too far as an autistic person and why it always ends up in the same way. Why you keep burning out over and over again. Because it becomes a cycle. I hit burnout multiple times over again because you keep trying to do the same thing, and that's not gonna work. That feeling of not knowing like how far you can keep going or how long you can keep going, that's when the burnout starts. That's how you know you're way outside of your limits. Like you can feel it. If your capacity is here, you're way up here, you're not where you're supposed to be, and you're constantly going into energy debt, literally, from just living your life the wrong way that doesn't work with how your brain works and how your body works and what your body actually needs from you. If you're experiencing that, you need to significantly decrease the amount of demands you have in your life, like as soon as possible, by any means necessary. Do whatever you can to reduce demand so you can find where your cap is, because if you're in burnout, you don't even know what your capacity is because you're constantly up here, obviously, if you keep burning out. You know what I'm saying? And it's different for if you are level 2 autistic or, you know, not autistic. It's going to be a different experience because for me personally, I'm level 2 autistic. So some of the things that burn me out are things that need to be done: hygiene, eating, driving, all those things. So if it's something like that you have to do every single day, it's going to be a different approach than trying not to burn out from things that you don't necessarily have to do every day. You don't necessarily have to work, a 50-hour work week, but, it might be some level 1 autistic people who work that many hours and they're burning out. That makes sense, but that's a different experience than being level 2. So you have to know what your capacity is and where that's going to be at for you. The last time I hit burnout, I was sharing an apartment, I was working full time, and I was in college. Because of that experience, I regressed and I got diagnosed with level 2 autism like a month or so after that, because even in that situation, I had a lot of help. It sounds like I was doing a lot, but I had a lot of help in that situation, and still burnt out. And now I have documented like skill regression, skill loss from all of that stress and like being way outside of my capacity that I was going through during that time. So that's been my experience with burnout, and now I'm doing a lot better. I'm not working, and I still have help, and still struggling, but I'm not going backwards further into burnout. Burnout takes a long time to recover from. I'm not recovered from burnout. As an autistic person, that might be something that you have to deal with you'll probably be managing that for the rest of your life, but there are things that you can do to make that better. Like, I don't feel the way I felt back then when I hit burnout. It's a process to recover. It's been like 4 or 5 months. It's not going to be a fast process. I thought I would have recovered quicker, but it takes time to regulate your nervous system, because that's what all of that affects as an autistic person. You have to re-regulate your body, and your body has stress responses to these things that you're putting it through, and it has to recover from that. You just don't get to move on from that. So it's really important that you listen to your body. And I kind of thought that I would just not be able to do anything. I thought, listen to my body. I may not be able to have any type of capacity at all. But when your body knows it can trust you, you can do more. That's the part people don't get. It's like, if my body knows I'm not going to push it outside of its limits, it can work within its limits better because it knows it will get a break, or it will have time to recover from what I am doing that's within my capacity. That's how you know it's within your capacity. That's the part that people don't get. If it's you can push within your capacity and recover from it. I'm not saying like don't try it all, especially if you're autistic. You're already trying. So the point is, try to an extent where you can recover. Okay? Especially if you're level 2 autistic, you're gonna have to do things that take a lot out of you. It takes a lot to take care of yourself as a level 2 autistic person, but you make it the path of least resistance for you. I struggle with a lot of different things, one of them being hygiene. What helped me, one of the things that has helped me is using different kinds of toothpaste. I've been using, that's part of the thing that makes it really hard for me. I don't like toothpaste. I started using kids toothpaste, path of least resistance. It gets done enough, path of least resistance, make everything that you need to do 100 times easier so it can get done. Because that's all that matters at the end of the day, is that you got it done. So it's really important that you pay attention and listen to your body. And I really hope that you can recover and take something from this video, because it's really important to give your body what it needs, because you break trust with yourself when you're pushing yourself outside of your limits constantly. And then on top of that, you're beating yourself up because you're not reaching these goals or these things that you have to do, or not keeping up with people around you. But that's the thing that's the least important. You should focus more on developing trust with yourself and listening and communicating with your body. So